Former jailed foreign correspondent Peter Greste has labelled the fate of a Brisbane television journalist set to be hauled back before the Crime and Corruption Commission in his bid to identify his confidential sources as troubling. In May, Queensland became the last Australian jurisdiction to pass media shield laws protecting reporters from prosecution when they refuse to name sources in court proceedings. However, a bid by the Liberal National Party Shadow Attorney General Tim Nicholls to move an amendment to protect reporters from CCC prosecution, supported by the Greens, was voted down by government MPs. So for more now, we're joined by our Queensland Editor Peter Gleeson. Why is the CCC so hell-bent on throwing this reporter in jail?
Well, Laura, it seems to be a growing trend here in Queensland where the Crime and Corruption Commission, they've gone after local councillors and they've gone after journalists, while those politicians at state level have remained virtually unscathed. Now, this journalist faces up to 5 years jail if convicted for not revealing a confidential police source. Peter Greste, he's now a professor of journalism at Macquarie University. He was jailed, of course, in Egypt in 2014, spending more than 400 days in prison. Now, he says the situation involving this journalist, who they've referred to as Journalist F, is troubling, and that the CCC is simply criminalising the idea of protecting sources. And again, this is what he says: I have a real problem with that. Now, according to a previous Supreme Court case, Journalist F received a tip-off from a police officer in 2018, as journalists do, Laura, about an impending raid on the home of a murder suspect who was also the subject of a joint counter-terrorism investigation. Now, the CCC subsequently called this journalist F as they're calling him, into this star chamber, where he argued that he did not have to answer due to a public interest immunity. Now, we know that he is set to appear before that star chamber again very, very soon. You know, this is a real attack on democracy in this country, and I think we have to be very, very careful when we look at, you know, bodies like the CCC going after journalists. It's not a good look at all.
No, it's certainly not. So what happens now? Gleeson, I don't know whether you can hear me, but what happens now?
I've just lost you there,
Peter Gleeson cannot hear us there from Queensland, so we'll try and get back to him. But it's certainly a very concerning development there in Queensland about the protection of these journalists, and it's one that Peter Gleeson has been across, certainly. We're going to hear from Peter Greste later today.